Hey everybody, I hope you're ready. Part 2 of my new releases video is up and out there. I told you last time there are so many amazing books coming out over the next few months and have just come out, and you are going to want to get your hands on all of them. So get ready for that TBR to explode, and let's get started. Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? As always, I hope you're happy, I hope you're healthy, I hope you're safe, and of course, I hope you're reading an amazing book or two or three. Today, there is no time to diddle-daddle. So many books to tell you about, and I really want every one of them to wind up on your TBR. So get out that pen, get out that paper, get out that Goodreads, however you keep track of that said TBR. If you are so able, please order a book or two from your local independent bookstore, or if you're a library user, get your library, get you a copy. Get on that list as soon as possible, because when it comes in, you know you'll be happy to read it. So we're going to start actually with a book that's just been released in paperback, and that's Inheritors by Asako Serizawa. And this is out from Inker Books, which is the paperback imprint of Doubleday books, I do believe. And this book I'm just going to sum up very quickly and concisely because I want you to sort of dive into it. This is the story of a Japanese family, a family saga of how they were affected and sort of sent to all these different places across Asia and the United States at the end of World War II. And there are many different characters that deal with how the war sort of affected them, and things are brought up from the past, things in the present, and sort of how to deal with the future. I think this paperback cover is absolutely beautiful. Winner of the PEN American Award, Literary Award. This book is something you definitely need to read. I think if you are fans of those family sagas, I always think, when I ever think family sagas, I always think of Pachinko because I loved it so much. But you know, books like that, I think you will really love. Inheritors by Asako Serizawa, out from Inker Books as we speak. Okay. Now, I have read, I believe, everything but one book this author has put out, and that is Peter Heller. And this is his new book, The Guide. And now Peter started in this sort of dystopian world with the dog stars. Then he had The Painter, which was more of an introspective book. And then Celine, which I absolutely love, I recommend constantly, which is about a woman in her 60s, I believe, or maybe even early 70s, who is sort of a private investigator. Loved that book. I think I have not read The River, which was his last book, and now this is The Guide, which was sent to me by Knopf, so thank you very much, Knopf. This is the story of a man who is sort of looking, he's had some rough times, so he winds up taking a job at the Kingfisher Lodge, and really he thinks the job is to lead famous people around this property. It's, you know, fenced off, it's sort of out there in the middle of nowhere. And he's just sort of like a guide to them as they go through the forest together. And he is assigned this famous singer, I believe. Yeah, a well-known singer. And his only job really is to take care of her. And then one day, this like human scream comes through the forest, and he starts to maybe find out that this lodge that he thought he was one thing is completely something different. I'm actually so proud of my Instagram picture of this book, but that's a story for another day. And I always think Peter Heller can tell one heck of a story. So that's The Guide by Peter Heller, out now from Knopf. Okay. Next is a book that was sent to me, and I just cannot get over how beautiful this cover is. And that's The Wrong End of the Telescope by Rabih Alameddine. And I'm probably saying that horribly wrong. This is out from Grove. And so when I read about this book, it was really just the beginning of the blurb that I focused on. This is a book about a trans Arab American woman's journey among Syrian refugees on a Greek island. That is really all I wanted to know. I thought that was a fascinating premise, and I thought this would be really interesting and retrospective, and also, you know, I didn't want to know too much. But then I read the blurb, and it gets even more interesting. So It says Mina Simpson is a Lebanese doctor, arrives in at the infamous Moria refugee camp on Lesbos after being urgently summoned for help by her friend who runs an NGO. Alienated from her family except for her beloved brother, Mina has avoided being so close to her homeland for decades. But with a week off of work and apart from her wife of 30 years, Mina hopes to accomplish something meaningful with her return. When a boat finally crosses, she meets Sumaya, a fiercely resolute Syrian matriarch with terminal liver cancer. As Maya prepares a course of treatment with limited resources on hand, she confronts the circumstances of the migrants' displacement as well as her own constraints in helping them. So I thought it sounded so good just from those couple of sentences. It sounds even better now. So that's The Wrong End of the Telescope by Rabih Alameddine, and this is out from Grove right now. And that cover is just so beautiful. So beautiful. Okay, and I think I've talked about the next book on my channel already before. You know, I do so many videos, sometimes I forget which books I've discussed, but this is Silent Winds, Dry Sea by Vinod Busjeet. I'm thinking that's how you say that. And this is out from Doubleday as well. Let's take a moment about this cover. It's so beautiful. This is set in the 1950s. Vishnu is our main character. He's a young boy. He learns that his family, his mother says that his family was actually put together by two bankrupt families that were just trying to survive. And this book follows Vishnu through 2 decades of his life as he comes to terms with all of that. This is set on a very small island in the Indian Ocean called Mauritius. And, you know, it's really about him discovering the world and family turmoil and what sort of hold that has on him, on what he can do and where he can go. So this is Silent Winds, Dry Seas by Vinod Busjeet, out from Doubleday Books. And again, that cover is absolutely gorgeous. A book that I'm not sure, have I talked about this one yet? The Inheritance of Orkiva, Divina, and this is by Zoraida, Cordova, and this is out from Atria Books, and this just sounds so fun, and I hope that's the right word for it. This sounds like a book that I can already see the movie in my head. So what we have here is we have the Montoyas. They are a family that sort of has, it says on the back, they live a life without explanation. So, you know, there's a little bit of stuff going on, and they know they have a matriarch that's never left the property that she lives on. It's called Four Rivers, and she's never gone anywhere from it. And she invites everyone home to her funeral, and she says that she's going to give them their inheritance. But then she's transformed, and it really sort of leaves even more questions than answers for everyone there. So 7 years later, her gifts have manifested. So I'm assuming by gifts, we're thinking something a little magical maybe, have manifested in different ways for the people that attended the funeral. And some of them with unexpected blessings. So there's like things going on. But then of course, someone has to come and try to tear this family apart. And it says the 4 descendants travel to Ecuador, to the place where Orquidea buried her secrets and broken promises and never looked back. So I think this sounds so good. I can already see the movie. So that's The Inheritance of Orkiva, Divina by Zoraida, Cordova. So there you go. I think that sounds fantastic. This book is the second in a series. This is The Women of Troy by Pat Barker. If you have been around a while, you know that I read and absolutely adored The Silence of the Girls. That was Pat Barker's retake from the point of view of the women of the Aeneid. And this is the continuation of that story. And so I don't know where it's going to go, and I don't want to read about it because I just want to know where she's going to take me as the pages turn. But if you like Greek myth retellings, if you like books that sort of flip the script a little bit on those, I mean, The Silence of the Girls was absolutely fantastic. Was it shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction? I believe it was. I hear from those that I know that have read this one and reviews, this one's even better than The Silence of the Girls. So I think that's super exciting. So that's The Women of Troy by Pat Barker, and this is also out from Doubleday. Doubleday has been very, very kind to me lately, so thank you very, very much, everyone at Doubleday. I could not be more happy when one book shows up from you, or two or three. I'm so blessed. I really, really am blessed. Actually, all of these publishers are so lovely to me. And I'm about to talk about Ecco, who has been lovely to me for years. So that is the new Joyce Carol Oates, Breathe. I talked about this in a video about, so I think I maybe have put this in a book haul, but I wanted to make sure people had it on their radar, because I feel like Joyce Carol Oates always puts a ton of books out, right? And sometimes they get lost in the shuffle a little bit. Breathe is her newest book about a couple that moves from, I believe, Cambridge, Massachusetts to this tiny town in New Mexico. They're married there, and they're in like academia. But the husband gets very, very ill and is not expected to really make it out of it. And this is a story of the wife dealing with the final days of her husband as she comes to realize that as much as she loves him, it may not be enough to help him survive this. I think it's going to deal with love. I think it's going to deal with grief. I think it's going to deal with sort of, what do you do? I often think about my life. Now I'm in my mid 40s. I often think about eventually my parents are going to pass, and I can't imagine a world without them in it. I can't imagine a world without my partner in it either. My husband's here every day and I talk to him. And how do you deal with that grief and sense of loss, especially when you're not expecting it? I'm sure Joyce Carol Oates is going to take us on that journey. So that's Breathe out from Ecco Books. You can get your hands on this one right now. And that cover is beautiful. I've heard New Mexico is beautiful. It's one of the few places I have not been. Let's do a couple more Halloween. I think in the last video I talked about Summer Suns, and this video I'm going to give you 2 books for Halloween, and this one is beautiful. Actually, both of these are absolutely beautiful. So this is Beasts and Beauty, Dangerous Tales by Soman Chainani, and this is out from Harper Books. And I just wanted you all to take a moment to look. It's got the best pictures. Gosh, there's so many good ones, and I'm trying to find a beautiful colored one for you. The illustrations are absolutely beautiful. But this is one of those retellings of fairy tales that you are probably aware of and but what happens if you flip the script and things get a little bit different? What if Red Riding Hood is a little bit more of a warrior? Look at that, so cool. I'm actually obsessed with this cover. So that's Beasts and Beauty, Dangerous Tales by Soman Chainani, out from Harper. And this one's actually a little bit bigger than it feels, a little bit bigger and heavier. I think it's because of the beautiful artwork in it. But this one comes out on September 21st, so it's right around the corner. Okay, and last but not least in this stack is this book, and this book arrived today. So I'm putting it in here so you all can see it, because it is beautiful. And that is, let me get it all situated. This is Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery. And it's by Brom, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, let me just see here. For decades, Brom has lent his distinctive vision of all facets of the creative industry, from novels and games. So I don't know much about Brom, but this book is absolutely gorgeous. Already you have this beautiful art, you have this creepy stuff. I have to show you the end papers. Look at that, and look at how creepy that is. And there are beautiful, beautiful pieces of art. And oh, that light did no justice to that. Let me do this. Look at that. Okay, so what is Slewfoot about? It's Connecticut, 1666. An ancient spirit awakes in the dark wood. The wild folk call him father, slayer, protector. The colonists call him Slewfoot, demon, devil. To Abitha, a recently widowed outcast, alone and vulnerable in her pious village, he is the only one she can turn to for help. Together, they ignite a battle between pagan and Puritan, one that threatens to destroy the entire village, leaving nothing but ashes and bloodshed in its wake. If it is the devil you seek, then it's the devil you shall have. Y'all, come on. And how absolutely gorgeous is this book? So that is Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery by Brom. And this is out from Nightfire, so thank you. Nightfire is a subsidiary of Tor, and does sort of their horror imprint. And they are fantastic. Oh my God, look at that. That's even creepy right there too. So much about this I absolutely love. Slewfoot, get your hands on it. Tale of Bewitchery. I'm not going to try to handle that pile of books because last time I tried, I dropped them everywhere. As always, if you are a return subscriber, I could not do this without you. Thank you so much. If you are new to my channel, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you subscribe, click the bell, do all of that so you can hear about what I'm doing in the future. As always, I totally encourage you always to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye, everyone.